Evening, everybody. It's a little after 5:30 on Tuesday. Excuse me, and this is your closing comment for this Tuesday afternoon, the 23rd, and it is video number 1420. Just so that you know, 1419 is our hour and a half trading session on a Zoom call from over this weekend, and it will be it's in the Discord, all the Discord rooms. It's also going to be noted on page one of tonight's daily note. So there's some good stuff there, and we'll do it again next week. So, you know, you want to participate or just lurk, you don't have to ask any questions. It is highly educational, and you can, if you want, ask specific questions about things that I don't cover. So, be happy to help you. Okay, so this morning I put out a title of basically sharply unchanged, and that's what we were. It lasted through most of the day, and it was really kind of a seesaw day again, but very quiet. The only thing that was down really was the Dow and the S&P. Um, Nasdaq was basically unchanged at down 27 cents. The Russell was up 340 or 0.18%. The biggest mover to the upside again today was the transportations, up 95.20 or 0.65. VIX was up a little, but the internals were pretty much dead even. We were 8 to 7 down on the Dow, and we were even on the NASDAQ, basically 1 to 1. But what was more important today was that the volume just absolutely collapsed down to 3.7 billion. Yesterday, if you recall, it was about 4.2, and that was pretty close to the summer average. In any event, we also had a bunch of corporate news today, just like yesterday. On the earnings front, we had Nordstrom, a company that makes a history of being on the wrong side of it. They beat on earnings, missed on revenues, gave poor guidance. The stock had closed 23.20, up 23 cents, traded down to 1993. Last is 2018, down 279 or 12%. Advanced Auto Parts, kind of a surprise because this one is a serial beater. And they did beat, but they talked about costs and inflation in their costs. They had closed, so they gave kind of negative guidance. The stock closed 199 and a half, up 57, traded right back down immediately to 185, so $15 or 7%. Came back, and the last is 189, down 948 or 4.7%. Toll Brothers, this was an interesting one because it missed on revenues, it beat on privates. Now you have to remember, Toll, TOL, is really the high price producer. Um, you know, their average selling price, I think, came out at 993,000. So while there is inflation and people do buy $1 million homes, it's not a starter home, clearly. In any event, the stock had closed 45.63, up a dime. It traded down to 43 and a half. And the last was 45.30, down 23 cents. So not a real big mover. But what was important in the guidance was they discussed that cancellations jumped from last quarter 3% to 13%. So they're lowering prices a little, and they're still getting cancellations. We'll have to see where that goes. Intuit, owner of Tex Preparation, owner of Credit Karma, etc. They beat both top and bottom line. Stock had closed 449 and a half, up about 340, traded up to 471.60, and the last is 468.50, and that's up 22 and change. Or 4.9%. Urban Outfitters also a miss, closed 21.84, down 18, traded immediately down to 20. Last was 21.20. It did have a little bounce to the upside on the numbers, but when you got into the margins and stuff, they took it right down. So it traded up to 23.99, down to 21.20. Down 82 cents, or 3.6% is the last. And Twitter, we had the big news on Twitter from the whistleblower who has been portrayed now by the company as, someone who was fired for doing subpar work. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I do know that the information that he put out there, which was all software related and really showed a lack of concern for security on the part of Twitter. The stock is trading right now 39.92, down 309, or over 7%. Chart on the screen is the oil. Beautiful day. We bought it yesterday. The UCO, which is a 2-to-1. So with this up 374, UCO was up almost double that. Again, the 5-day has turned up. I told you I thought it would take till Wednesday or Thursday to cross the 20 back to the upside. What I didn't figure was that we were going to have this much of an extension today, up 338 or 3.75%, bringing us to these highs right around $95, and also right on top of the 200-day MA. So if we continue to get an extension up, this one's going to look really nice. Our other positions are also, as it turns out, in the futures market. We are long the copper, which was up about 4.5 cents today. Unfortunately, it didn't hold the biggest part of the gain, which had it up about 8 cents. I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so we had this. I was really concerned about this roll. Looked like it was going to roll over to the downside. Not so sure anymore, because yesterday it was only slightly lower, but with an outside day closing closer to the high. Today it had both a higher high and a higher low. I think that we paid about 70 cents for those options, and they closed at 75. I saw them as high as 85, and 85 bid offered at $1. So that's pretty decent. I'm also looking at the silver. So silver was up about 14 cents, not nearly as big a move as we had in the gold, up 12.80. But the gold is kind of in a no man's land. The silver, on the other hand, is coming off a low. And I shared in the Discord room yesterday when I was buying it right against these highs and closes. I bought a couple of the AGQs. That's the triple silver, I believe, and I was paying 70 and 75. They closed 85. They traded as high as $1.07. So we may add that in also. I don't like to have too many positions on kind of all going in the same way. And when you look at silver and copper, are both pretty much, silver is a big byproduct of copper mining. So that's two of the same. So in any event, oil, copper, and it looks to me like we're going to do okay on both of those. Other futures, we had the gold up 1280, we had Bitcoin up 525, and my favorite, nat gas, touched $10.02. I don't know why it's not listed here in the table, but I will show you the chart. And the chart clearly shows $10 and 0.028, so $10 and almost 3 cents, at which point it reversed back down. Not a big surprise. I would like to buy it in this 860, 870, this area right here, even 875. It's had all of these pullbacks. I don't know that I'd automatically jump in tomorrow, but certainly if we got down to the 850, 855 level, I'd be all over it. All right, everyone. Have a good evening. I'll be back first thing in the morning, and maybe we won't have to think about Jackson Hole